Hey everybody, I am Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Music Television. Got a great guest with us today. He is a much heralded bass player. He's played for guys like Mountain, Leslie West, Steelheart. The list goes on. But what we're here to talk about today is his very first debut album where he gets to show off some of his vocal chops as well. And it is impressive. The name of the album is BAKWASH, and we are here with Rev Jones. Yeah. Rev, how you doing, man? Good.
How are you, man?
Yeah, great. So, we were talking about this a little bit earlier off the record. I was a little shocked. Everyone knows what a great bass player you are, but they may not necessarily have known about your vocals. And I'm listening to BAKWASH here, and I'm just like, wow. How come this is your first album, like is your own solo project showing off your vocals?
Well, I was trying to wait until I got out of high school to record anything. No, actually, I never have, actually had a chance to, do something like this. I mean, really, it's funny because in 1994, I tried to put together a band called BAKWASH. It was a little project I had.
Okay.
I actually wrote BAKWASH, Betty Blue, and Long Legged Lady back then, and
wow.
Nothing changed from then to now. It's actually kind of what started this was that that thing didn't happen. So, the next 3-4 bands that I was in, those songs didn't fit, so they just kind of like went into the archive or the vault, as people say,
Okay.
And so whenever I'm off the road, I always, do shows as Rev Jones band, just play some cover songs and do songs from Mountain and Steelheart and MSG and stuff, and so I was actually re-recording the songs and a couple of new ones I wrote for the guys to learn that were playing with me.
Right.
And then I got the idea of, well, I'll record them and just give them away on my website, So I contacted Jim Dofka to play guitar on it, and then he put the leads on, and then he actually wrote me back or called me and said, talked me into not giving it away. He heard something that I didn't really, I just kind of overlooked it, just like, oh, it's me, whatever, I didn't think it was any different than, just a little, song to throw out or whatever. He talked me into actually doing an album,
Wow.
And so once I decided that, because I had a ton of song ideas, so I just went and wrote like, 5 more songs and or whatever it was, and had him play on it. Originally, I had played the drums, me and a guy that plays here locally with me. We did all the drums. And so once I decided to get Jim in there, I was like, well, I'll call Jeff and have Jeff, redo the drums.
Right.
That
Okay.
way,
And when you say Jeff, of course, we're talking
Jeff
about
Martin, yeah.
Jeff Martin, who everyone would know from Racer X.
Yeah.
And
Badlands.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he's got Blasted to Static, which you played bass for Blasted to Static, which we actually had a chance to talk, years back, Jeff and I. So that's very cool, that you were able to bring him into this project.
Yeah. And it's funny, once he said, I was actually going to have him sing a couple of songs. And he actually heard it and said, man, your voice sounds great with these songs. I don't want to change it, which is a great boost to hear, somebody like that's a killer singer say that, I mean, if Glenn Hughes would call me and say that, then I'd be set.
Well,
but now I'm just dreaming,
Well, I'm telling you, though, seriously, I mean, Rev, listening to your vocals, especially with a long-legged lady.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, like you're hitting these really high notes. I wasn't expecting that, and when you went there, I'm like, I'm hearing Dickinson Halford type stuff,
That's been one of the, advantages that I've had being a bass player with, because almost every band I've been in, I can't even think of one that wasn't, but I have had great singers, and great harmony vocals and stuff. So I had to cover it. Like when I was in MSG, usually I would double on the choruses. I would double the singer, so that way he wouldn't have to kill himself. Especially if you're doing Assault Attack or one of the Grand Bonnet songs. So I would be doubling it, and that also gave him that a chance to go like this.
Right.
Same with Steelheart. I would aside from just singing harmonies, but I had to, I would double him on parts so he could put the mic out there with the crowd.
Right.
And especially towards the end, whenever we had Kenny playing guitar again, because he's such a great singer. We had these really strong vocals, you know. But that was one advantage that because I could sing like a lead singer, you know. I had that, you know, power and that kind of vocal sound, I guess, you know.
Right.
That it gets you more jobs, you know.
Right.
And that's actually Michael loved that whenever, because he wouldn't. When I sent Michael my audition CD, I'd send him a CD and then I sent a video of me playing with the band doing "Smoke on the Water" so you can see I sing and a bass solo. And then I found out once I got hired that he never listened to the CD because he doesn't like listen to music.
Are you talking about Schenker?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And he doesn't want to be influenced with, you know, so he only watched the video of me singing and the bass solo. That's how he hired me.
That's wild, man.
Yeah,
that was totally wild.
And actually, that came from Jeff Martin too. Jeff Martin was his drummer at the time.
Okay.
And he told Jeff to pick the bass player he wanted to pick. You know.
All right.
So.
All right.
But so back to the album. I got Jeff, you know, on board to do it. So and it still was a thing of we all live completely different areas of the United States. You know. So
yeah.
I did all the bass and actually the guitar. Most of the guitar, the rhythm stuff is all me too. You know. I sent it to Jim, and he just decided not to replay it, you know, because it sounded fine. But I did all the, you know, that stuff, the vocals, sent it. He did all the leads. Then we sent everything to Jeff. That was the last thing that went on with drums.
Okay.
And which is kind of cool because that way Jeff already knew what was there. It actually opened up these spots that, well, there's nothing here. I could do a weird, you know, a weird drum fill that, you know, would never have fit if I was trying to play to it, you know.
Right on. So there was some creative flexibility there between you and Jeff and Jim, and that's cool.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool.
And so we did that, and then it just kind of sat there for a long time because I was on the road, and so slowly, you know, because Jim Dofka also mixed it, so he did it his, you know, kind of spare time, you know, and so it was done. Then I finally, you know, I started shopping it around, and I had a little bit of interest, but you know, anybody you're going to sign with, they're going to give you, okay, here's your $5, and we're not going to promote it or anything. We're just going to put it out there, you know.
Well, that's what we're here to do right now. So again, everybody, we are here with the amazing Rev Jones talking about his debut album, BAKWASH. Make sure you go check it out. We're going to have some, you know, information here so you can go get it. But in any event, Rev, one of the things I'm curious about, like, you know, some bands nowadays, they gravitate a little bit more toward EPs. But with this, now you had already said that you had written a number of songs, but there was never, I guess, a thought in your mind that, hey, you know what, let's put out an EP, then we'll put out an LP. You just went right to the LP. Yeah.
I mean, it's, I always love those albums that, you know, you had 10 songs, you know.
Right.
And it's just, if you can do the thing where you do 2 songs, put it out, do 2 more, then you put them all out, you know, at the end, just to try to get more people, you know. And I mean, it makes sense, you know, but it's kind of, you know, it's to me, it sounds like more work, you know.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think it's easier to kind of just put it out and then hope that it, you know, does good. And I'm more concerned on this album of getting people to just hear it, you know.
Right on.
And share it with people, you know. I mean, I'm a realist. I know that I'm not going to sell 1 million copies unless everybody here buys one.
Right. Well, I'm really curious about your influences on this album, though, specifically, because you have such a very rich background. And I'm just curious, you know, with your time with Steelheart, you know, playing with Mountain specifically, you know, your relationship with Leslie West, the things that you've done with the Michael Schenker group, being a guitar tech for George Thorogood, you know, has any of those relationships and any of your experiences with those guys, did they have any influence on you as a singer? You know, and kind of the style of music that you would put out as a solo artist?
Well, I think everybody that I see or hear influenced. Yeah. You know, either bad or good. You know, that, you know, it's like when people ask me what kind of influenced me to write, it's everybody. I mean, everything I've liked growing up. You know, that's what it sounds like when you listen to it. You can't say, oh, you know, he's trying to sound like, you know. He's trying to sound like this band or that band, because it sounds like everybody I've ever heard.
Yeah, right on.
And also because the advantage I have over a lot of other people is that I didn't sit down and write an album with the intention of the album's going to sound like this, and I'm going to do this with it. You know,
right?
These are all songs. You know, like I said, a couple of them were written in '94. I think two of them were written early 2000s. That didn't come out with Black Symphony, or at least one of them for sure. And some other ideas that I had just been tossing around. So they all were written different eras, and they don't really sound alike, but they all sound like me.
Right. Right on.
Which is great. I mean, because I love bands like Queen that you don't pick one style for the whole album.
It's funny you bring that up because in listening to BAKWASH, God, I forget which song it was on there, but there was one where I did kind of get that Queen feel, like a Freddie Mercury kind of feel to it, And then there was, others where I kind of had like a Van Halen feel.
Yeah.
And so I could tell, like you're talking about, kind of the diversity of the influences that you've had. You definitely hear it in the album.
Yeah. It's one of those things that people, a lot of people try to stay away from. If they sound like. If they like Van Halen and stuff like that, they're not going to have a James Hetfield singer,
right?
Right? Because they think it's going to be different. But why is that? That might be the best thing ever. Might be a country band with Tom Arias screaming over it.
Right on.
That might be the next cool thing. You don't know until you try it. And it really shouldn't matter because the way that all these bands kind of mold together anyway is you find a singer. He might not be the guy you're looking for, but he sounds great, and you start singing to your songs, and there's your style,
Right.
And because everybody wants Freddie Mercury or Halford or Paul Rogers, you want that singer.
Sure.
But who's going to find those? Where are those guys at? Right? If there's a phone book for them, I need it.
Right. Right. Now I know you are a very busy guy, and you've got a lot of different things that you've been juggling. Of course. BAKWASH came out back in November, just prior to Christmas, the whole new year. Have you already given thought to putting out another album as Rev Jones, or are you going to be busy, with some of the other projects that you have?
Well, yeah, I will put out another one for sure. I probably got enough songs for two more.
Wow.
That are just, already kind of in my head and stuff. I'm not going to start recording them until, at least this has been out for 6 months or something. Because
sure,
I've been in a couple of bands that we had an album finished, lost a singer, spent 2 years trying to find another replacement, and then did another album. So now we got two albums, and in Black Symphony we had two albums that we didn't release, and we were on a third one, and all these songs in those first two albums they got overlooked. They were great songs that nobody got to hear,
Right.
And so because people grow to hate the songs after I wrote that, it's a year old. That's stupid.
Right.
It's a good song. All day long I'll go out and play the same song. If I had a choice between playing some song I wrote that I think is great or playing say a Guns N' Roses song that I can't stand, if everybody in the crowd wants to hear the Guns N' Roses, I'm going to play it.
Right.
Because I'm more into entertaining people.
Sure.
And
now it's
not an ego thing. I don't care. A lot of people, it's more of an ego that I got to play my songs, and you can't be like that. Some of the biggest bands, Van Halen, Beatles, did cover songs.
Sure.
And had they not done those cover songs, and done them cool versions of them, people might not have even known who they were. So
right on.
But
right on.
But so yeah. So I'm gonna. The plan is to, sometime this summer or something, I'll start recording another one.
Okay.
And if it does, even what this one's already done, it's done. I think I already broke even. So like I said, I'm a realist. I don't think I'm gonna sell 1 million copies.
Okay. Now, what about touring in support of this album? What about touring in support of it? Is that in the plans?
Well, I've been doing. I have a band here that a guitar player, and drummer here in Oklahoma that. We do shows around, and I play some covers and songs from other bands I've been in, and just we play around here. I've been talking to people about when this summer and stuff, doing more festivals and getting some support stuff here and there. Because I'm going to be pretty much busy all about half the year with George Thorogood.
Right.
He tours a month on, a month off. So. But that's the plan, and I've also talked to a few people. If I can get more of those, I'll actually fly Jeff and Jim Dofka out to do them,
Okay.
And if we do that, try to do some songs from Jeff's album or Racer X or,
Right on.
throw some other stuff in, but.
Right on. Now, speaking of some of these other relationships that you have, I think it's funny because, again, we talked a little while ago about, how certain media outlets can kind of take things and just use it exclusively as like tabloid fodder and kind of focus on more of the negative elements of what's going on, in the music world. But when you and I were talking, again, specifically about Michael Schenker, there was, a lot of negativity that was put out there, some years back and whatnot. But you actually have a great relationship with him right now. I mean, is there any chance that maybe we could see, Rev Jones going out on tour, not as the bass player for, Michael Schenker, but actually in support of a Michael Schenker tour?
Yeah. I mean, I've done tours with him, over the last 5 years, 6 years, since after I left the band. Actually, the current tour that he's doing, originally when they first started putting the Michael Schenker Fest together with all the singers, it was going to be a different lineup for Europe, North America, and Asia. And it was going to be me and Pete Holmes were going to be the rhythm section in America, and then Chris and Ted were going to be the Europe, and then there was going to be a different one for Asia. And since it slowly started going with the original, with Ted and Chris, they decided to bring it to America, and then they were coming back, next month to do it, and but it's one of those things that you kind of, people kind of forget, because if you stay away touring for say 2 years from a certain place, you forget what the crowds are like and what, how many shows and all that. So when they did that last one, it actually, they did about half as many shows, smaller venues, so technically they played to less people, but, the way they were looking at it is it was doing better, because everywhere else in the world, if you add a name to your tour, you get more money. In America, you add a name, you just added another bill because you got to fly somebody there.
Right.
Because then people here don't care,
Gotcha.
And, but yeah, so we were originally supposed to do it. But yeah, after Michael stopped drinking, because the only problem I ever had with him, the end of 2006, he hit a spell where he started drinking, and we were in Japan. He walked off stage, could play. We, got him back going, played 2 more shows, finished it. Got to Thailand, and it was so awful, because he was just drunk.
Right.
And I kept opening my email, and I'd have 1,000 emails. What's going on? Why is he doing this? Because nobody would say anything,
Right.
And I was fed up, and I already actually left the band, and they made me come back and do the tour because I was already paid for it in advance. And which I only left because he was, kind of started drinking and stuff. And so we did, after that, I just put a thing on my website, apologizing for the talentless guitar playing is what I said. Because I wanted him to spark up and realize, And it's funny because all of the Schenker fans that hated me all liked me after that.
Yeah?
I was the only person that ever stood up and said, hey,
That's cool, man.
Everybody else was going, oh, it's okay, Michael, you have a drink,
Right.
And that's such a shame. But so then, we didn't play the last show, and a weird thing happened. All our gear got confiscated by the promoters until they got their money back. I had to go get the money, fly to Taiwan myself, and get the gear back.
Jeez.
But so I didn't talk to him the whole next year because he was drunk. They didn't finish any shows the next year. Then he went, went to the hospital. I think they told him he was going to die if he didn't stop, and he stopped drinking, and he hasn't drank since then.
Awesome. Awesome. But the bottom line is right now you guys have a good, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. And once he stopped drinking, he was never, he never was mad at me. He doesn't even acknowledge, he never apologized to me or anything. It was just kind of one of those, he gave me that look,
Right.
okay, we're good, and I don't hold grudges like that, I mean, even if I hated him at one point, I love the guy. He's funny. I mean, there used to be a couple of people in there, and I met all of them, but the one that's actually the sober Michael Schenker is super funny, very nice, he's a great person.
Right. So things got blown out of proportion. Obviously, the negativity was perpetuated. But the bottom line is, right now, the relationship that you have with Michael Schenker couldn't be better.
Yeah. He's, I mean, hell, I'll tell you, the last tour I did with him, we played on my birthday, and he sang "Happy Birthday" to me at Soundcheck right before we went on stage, and then he had the whole crowd sing with him.
Nice.
So it's just kind of funny. I was like, this is weird, I mean, it's always surreal anyway, because I grew up idolizing, like him and Leslie West, and and so all these guys that I've had the pleasure to play with, and even play with those guys, like Levon Helms and people like that. It's like it's kind of surreal sometimes. I'm just like, wow,
That is wild. That is wild. So, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, but some parting thoughts, just because, again, I mean, you have just such a rich history, resume. I mean, just the things that you've done, as a musician, they're pretty fabulous. And I'm curious, have there ever been any projects floated your way, any opportunities to, be the bass player for the band that you actually turned down that you regretted?
Yeah, well, there's been a couple that I kind of wish I would have done more so I would have been able to play with the guys. Like Rob Halford, for instance. When I was in Black Symphony, his manager had called me to see if I wanted to join. And the problem was we were just about to release the Black Symphony album. We had stuff going, and I told him, I said, well, I can't be available, like solely to Halford for the next 6 months, because I fill in until you find somebody, or I help you find somebody, And the bad thing was that right after that, I mean, like within a week, the singer quit, and that album never even came out.
Wow.
Or what, we replaced the vocal on it. It came out later, but I mean, I was wanting to kill that guy. I kept sending him a bill, going, "Here's a bill for the $1,500 I would have made this week."
Jeez.
And but it's like I only regret that because I would have probably felt worse if I would have took it, and then that things would have went how they were supposed to go with that band, and I would have had to quit, because then I would have been screwing him over, and I would have felt I don't like to be that guy,
Right.
Oh, I'll take this gig until till tomorrow, and then I don't want to be that guy. So, but I regret, because it'd be great to say, hey, I played with Rob,
Yeah.
I've done those 3 songs, I sing backups,
Right. Right.
And same with Ronnie Dio as well. I'd had when I first joined Black Symphony, he was looking for a bass player, and I'd already talked to him about, if you're going to be in LA, come by and, jam with them. And the only reason I didn't want to do it is because I didn't feel that I would be a good bass player especially at the time, I was more really, playing and solo and kind of thing, because I was in a speed metal band and, all this. So I didn't think I would fit as well. And I was always so scared that I would get in an argument with Ronnie, and and I don't want to be I don't want to take one of my heroes and and ruin my look out. That's why I don't want to ever meet Paul McCartney because of this. I don't want to meet him, and then him make me mad. Everybody go, aren't you the guy that knocked Paul McCartney out?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. So that was kind of why I didn't go and play with him. And then after that, it's funny because I joined Black Symphony, and we went on tour with Ronnie.
Okay.
So I got to hang out with him on tour and talk and all that. And I'm glad I didn't, because I mean, I'd have loved to have played with Ronnie, because it doesn't get much better than that. But I also heard stories about him. If he, he'll argue with you if he thinks he's right and you're wrong.
Right.
And you got that little bitty guy arguing up at you with that mean devil stare, and that voice. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, man. Right on. Right on.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny though is that Leslie West is kind of that way. Leslie, he doesn't care. He will say whatever. I mean, he would actually. I remember him throwing me under the bus. We were on tour of Mountain, and he would come up to me and say, "Did Corky play something weird in that part?" And I would say, "Yeah, he did this." And then Corky would walk in and he would go, Rev was just telling me that you messed that part up. And I'm like, well,
Oh, nice.
I'm looking at him, and of course I would, I'd totally say, yes, you did, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't me, I swear.
Oh,
but
God.
what's funny about Leslie is he'll say whatever. He doesn't care. And I think it's his blood sugar that does that. Because when you walk off stage, if you did anything that was weird to him during the show, he's going to yell at you and not even remember it the next day. We were doing a show, and during my bass solo, I turned and kicked my delay off, and after the show, he was yelling at me. You were doing your solo and you lost him. You turned around and you hit your pedal. Turned your back to him. I said, nobody noticed that. He was yelling. So the next day, when I went to turn it off, I did a little spin pirouette and hit the pedal and looked at him, and he didn't even acknowledge it. He didn't even know why I was doing it,
That's funny.
But the best thing about Leslie getting mad, though, is that when he yells at you, he's yelling at you in that voice that you love to hear him sing it. He's yelling, you're going, oh, this is awesome.
Oh, it's too funny. But the bottom line is you have a great relationship with basically everyone that you've ever played with. Be it Steelheart, even though you're not still playing bass with them right now. Great relationship with those guys. Things couldn't be better with Schenker. Great relationship with Leslie West. And, of course, when you're not singing or playing bass yourself, you're tuning up the guitars for George Thorogood.
Oh, yeah. And, I do other things, like when I bring him his first guitar, it's all part of the show. Because, Thorogood is that character that you see of him, that's him 24/7. That's not a made up, it might be made up, but it's for him.
That's wild.
I mean, 24/7, he is that guy, he'll just walk up to you and, see this jacket? James Coburn gave me this jacket. And that there's a joke or something coming. He's going to lead into something that leaves you standing there, like, but, he's a great person to work with anyway. But yeah, when I bring him, his guitar, I wear a championship wrestling mask, and I come out like it's almost like a challenge, like train me.
That's funny.
And because he says, surprise me. But I did a couple of times. Actually, one night I went out, I had a King Kong hat on, but he just shocked me. Oh, it just added to his funniness,
That's too funny.
But yeah, it's cool because I get to hang out with them. I mean, talking about being influenced, you see what he does every night, and he's been doing it so long. It's like Mick Jagger or something. He's just all over the stage. It's all about entertainment. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's tired or what. He still goes out there and gives more than 110.
Right on. So you've had some good influences.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't matter if you actually like his songs or singing or whatever. You go see him and you're going to go, that was great, And it's like seeing Chuck Berry. Same deal, you go see Chuck Berry. If you don't like the songs, you still would, oh my God, that was great. If you go see AC/DC and you don't like AC/DC, Angus Young is going to sell the band to you,
Right on.
So it's because of the entertainment, which is kind of what influenced me to be that way on stage,
Right, okay.
I mean, guys like Pete Way, Pete Way was, I'd see those old UFO and stuff. He had his foot up on the monitor and tapping his foot, and exactly what you see Steve Harris do. Steve Harris got it from them. The UFO, they all told me that they'd be playing, and the front row would be the Iron Maiden kids.
Very cool.
Getting everything from them, So, so people like that, Eddie Van Halen and Roth, those guys, The Who especially, I mean, you can't get more, like, mean, heavy, arm spinning, crazy, throwing your amps off. That's what I grew up thinking a band should be.
Right on, man.
Even seeing a band like Yes, they had the big show with the tapes and they're doing the craziest stuff. It's like, oh my God! Nowadays you go see a band and you're going, did somebody in his family pass away? I mean, why is he just standing there? Looks like he's about to cry because he has to get paid to play in front of you.
Well, now we understand. Now we understand the method of madness behind Rev Jones.
It is madness, trust me.
Right on. Well, Rev, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. And
thanks
again,
for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And everybody, make sure you go check out BAKWASH, Rev Jones' very first solo album. It's killer. I've heard all 10 tracks.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Just so you know, it also comes with a free picture of me when I was 12 months old holding what appears to be an alcoholic beverage. It comes free on the cover of this CD.
That's actually you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that was you.
It was, December 26, 19 something.
That is funny.
12 months old.
Oh, man. Oh, all right. Well, Rev, thank you very much again for your time. Everybody, we are here with Rev Jones. Go check out BAKWASH. I'm Scotty J with Rock Titan TV. We're out.